Joe Thomas is introduced as 10-time Pro Bowler, but he's 6-time All-Pro. Like, you want to be 6-time All-Pro more than you want to be 10-time Pro Bowler, I would think. The pride of Wisconsin, Joe Thomas joining us, the former Browns offensive tackle. So if I say 10-time Pro Bowler, would you rather I said 6-time All-Pro?
Dan, you can say whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Oh, well, I saw where you're losing weight, so maybe you don't want to be called to dinner. What's the deal here? You lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, as an offensive lineman, I think typically guys go one way or the other when they retire. And I was always kind of a small guy trying to keep weight on during my career, so it was pretty easy losing it, and I was pretty happy to be able to shed some of those pounds and let the joints feel a little bit better.
Do you feel different?
Oh, I feel a lot different. I feel a lot better. I mean, can you imagine taking a 50-pound backpack off your back and being able to go up and down the stairs every day? No problem now.
If you played offensive tackle today at your weight, what would happen?
There would be a lot of cut blocks. There'd be a lot of holdings, and there'd probably be a lot of sacks.
And what are you now, 33?
I'm 33, yep.
Isn't it weird to, like, now what do? You retired. Do you have any hobbies? Like, what are you doing with your life now, Joe?
I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've got a lot of hobbies. I've got a lot of other interests. I'm looking into the broadcast media space, and I've got 3.5 kids at home, so they keep me plenty busy on a day-to-day basis. Actually, I'm making pancakes myself right now.
Wait, is Mom pregnant?
Mom is pregnant. She's due in like 2 weeks.
Oh, boy. Did you have big kids?
They were average size. I would say, 7, 8 pounds, right in there.
Oh, okay. I mean, that would be a breakfast for you when you were playing for the Browns, right?
That was one burrito.
How are the Browns looking to you there, Mr. Hard Knocks?
I think they're looking great. I'm excited about all the new weapons they got on offense. I think the Tyrod Taylor-Baker dynamic has really been great so far, and I expect that to continue. I think Tyrod's the perfect guy to help mentor, but also still be the leader and be the guy that's behind center. So it's exciting. I mean, I'm anxiously waiting for Josh Gordon to come back and see how that changes the offense. But I think even if he's not back in anytime soon, I think they can really score a lot of points on offense this year.
If you were still playing offensive tackle for the Browns, who would you want to start week 1 as your quarterback?
I've always said this, that I think experience is underrated at the quarterback position, so I would definitely go with Tyrod. I think I've played with a lot of rookie quarterbacks, and a lot of times they look great in practice. They look great in the preseason, but once you start throwing stuff at them that they haven't been coached up that week, they have a hard time. And I think playing quarterback, a lot of times what happens during the course of a season is you're falling back on some of the experiences that you've had early on in your career, whether it be defensive coverages or blitz packages or how you're going to handle certain blitz pickups. And if you don't have those experiences to fall back on, a lot of times that's when big negative plays happen, and that's what you see a lot from rookie quarterbacks.
How often did you go into a game actually thinking you could win?
Well, to be totally honest, Dan, later on in my career as the losing sort of piled up, I didn't really even think about that. I just kind of focused on my job and trying to win my individual battle. And I just focused on how can I be perfect in this game and give my team the best chance to win, because I didn't want to think like a fan, because I knew that would lead to a decrease in my own performance because I was distracted with something that I had no control over.
We're talking to Joe Thomas, the former Browns offensive tackle. I'm looking at this dynamic between Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator, Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator. Man, they look like two lunatics out there, Joe. How's this going to work?
Yeah, I think it'll be great. I've been around Greg for last year, and I've never been around Todd except for my interactions with him this spring. But offensive and defensive coordinators always have a little good-natured back and forth in training camp because of the competitive nature of training camp. And I've seen him come after it a little bit. I don't know if I've ever seen it good blows, but definitely pushing and shoving. And I think it's just a normal part of preseason and kind of going through that. But as soon as the regular season starts, they're on the same team, and they're all rowing the boat in the same direction. What
do you think about Bryant adding him to the roster?
That would be interesting. I'm not sure where Dez is physically. Obviously, he hasn't had the amount of interest that he expected. Dallas obviously knows something, and there's a reason that they got rid of him, and they know him better than anybody. So I'd be cautious, but I think at the right price, he could be a hungry veteran that could add some good leadership, good experience, and some good playmaking ability to the room.
As fans, what should we take out of a preseason game? Like, what's real and what's not?
I would say almost everything's fake. I don't even know what you can take out of it as a fan. I mean, maybe you can fool yourself into being excited if your team wins, but I wouldn't do that if I were somebody that knows much about the game.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. Like watching Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield against the Giants. We love to overreact, certainly with rookie quarterbacks in the preseason.
Yeah, my rookie year, Brady Quinn was our first-round pick with me, and he started, or at least I think he started like the fourth preseason game against the Bears, went right down the field. We scored a touchdown. Everyone's thinking, man, this guy's, the next Peyton Manning, and nothing against Brady at all. But when you're in the preseason, we look back at the film, and they played cover two legitimately the entire game. So he kept taking the middle throw to the running back, which is, as everybody knows, in cover two is always open. So they don't adjust in the preseason. You're not going to see that ever happen in a regular season game. So it's just not even apples to apples when you're talking about a regular season and preseason game, because preseason, they're just going to let you take whatever you want. They've got a few things they want to work on in the game, and they're just going to let the chips fall where they may. And that'll never happen in the regular season.
Could Brady Quinn outbench you?
There is no doubt, especially now. I'm kind of weak right now. I lost a lot of weight.
What is the funniest thing that ever happened in the huddle? Because you never missed a snap, so you were there for just about every play.
The funniest thing that ever happened was when Josh Johnson came into the huddle maybe a week after we signed him, and nobody in that huddle knew his name because he hadn't taken any reps. And so I had to introduce myself.
In the huddle.
Said, hey, Josh, my name's Joe Thomas. I'm your left tackle. Let's try to get this first down.
Did you ever help up I don't think you gave up. How many sacks did you give up in your career?
I don't think I remember giving up any sacks.
Of course I don't think you did either. Did you ever pick up Did you ever pick up the quarterback and just say, my bad? After your guy got him?
I had a habit. Yeah, I had a rule. I would never pick the quarterback up because even if it was my fault, I felt like it was still a little bit his fault, so he should have to at least bear a little bit of the brunt of that and get himself up.
I think the over-under is 5 wins on the Browns this year. What do you got?
I got the over. I like the over all day.
So you got him at like 6 wins.
I said I've had him at 8.
Wow.
For a little while. I like that right now. There's still obviously a lot of preseason, and we haven't seen him with real bullets, but I really like what they did in the offseason, and I think 8 is a really solid number. I still feel good about it.
I'm curious from an offensive line perspective, when you have these different quarterbacks, you'll have mobile quarterbacks, you've got guys who extend the play. Like Brady is sort of the anomaly. If you look at a guy who's 41, who doesn't have that explosiveness or athleticism. As an offensive lineman, would you rather block for Brady or would you rather block for Russell Wilson?
Well, obviously they're two great quarterbacks, but I'd rather block for Brady because you know where he's going to be at all times. And so it makes your job easier because as an offensive lineman, you're almost never looking at the football. You're always blocking for whoever has the football. So you kind of have to go off of what the play says and your instincts on where he's going to be. Now, a guy like Russell, you're going to try your hardest to block as long as you can and to hope you know where he's going to be. But a lot of times he's going to end up in the spot you don't think. And he does get creamed from time to time by your man because you just have no idea. You're blocking for a spot and you can't see it out of the back of your helmet.
You didn't miss any snaps. What was the bathroom situation like?
It's funny. I sweat so much in games that I never really had to pee. I mean, maybe at halftime I would go in and pee, but if I had like an IV or two before the game, I'd probably pee at halftime. But there was never any time where I was worried about missing a snap because I had to run to the bathroom.
Did you eat at halftime?
Oh yeah, I actually ate throughout the game. We had these little like Gatorade chews and these other like power bar like goos on the sideline for calories because you burn so many calories, like your blood sugar and everything is getting really low during a game. Your glucose, your glycogen. So you got to kind of keep that up to be able to keep performing at a high level.
Did you ever take anything? Was anything personal on the field that you took off the field with a player?
You know what? I don't think anything ever went off the field, but I was most upset when a guy would think that he got the best of me when he really didn't. You know what I mean? Like the quarterback steps up in the pocket and starts to run, and your guy makes a sack. And you had him blocked for 6 seconds, and it was really the quarterback just going to run that he allowed him to get the sack. And that was what bothered me by far the most, where a guy would jump up and start dancing around when he did absolutely nothing on the play.
Did you say anything?
I usually said something like, hey, buddy, anybody could have got that sack, including my grandma. I blocked your ass for 6 seconds, and you did nothing.
Wow, that's some serious trash talk there, Joe. You dropped grandma in there. You're crazy.
Yeah, I was a big trash talker. Yeah, I'm crazy. No doubt.
Hey, you big bully. My grandma could have got that. Is that sort of how it sounded?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Man.
You know, I like to come off the top rope on these guys.
I love it. Hey, good to talk to you, and good luck here in the next couple of weeks there.
All right, thanks, Dan. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, Joe Thomas joining us from Madison, Wisconsin, one of my favorite cities. Former Browns offensive tackle.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.